Welcome, everyone. My name is Marilyn, Stamping Creations with Marilyn, coming to you from Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada. I want to welcome you back if you've been here before, and welcome you if you've never been here before. Everyone is welcome. I'm going to switch a few screens around here today. I'm trying to learn a few new things, and the program has been having some changes, so I'm just hoping everything's going to work. So I hope we're in the right place, and I will go through my usual spiel about what's happening and in my world and the Stampin' Up world and that kind of thing. So welcome. You can see my question for tonight across the bottom. Please comment and chit chat with each other as we're going. And you can see here a short version, a smaller version of what I'm going to show you tonight. It's really neat technique that I really enjoyed doing. Before we get too far, I do want to thank everyone who donated to my kits for Santa's Anonymous. I collected enough with the donations and my commissions to have 21 kits sitting in my office ready to go. So I'm sure they'll be appreciated when the Christmas time rolls around. Pardon me. We have 2 new kits available now through Stampin' Up. Just as of yesterday. I do not have them, but these are slides, pictures of them. And you can always go online. Well, that's where you find them, is in our online store. And they're, if they're there, they're available. If not, they might say currently unavailable, but they will be back. So if you're interested in kits, the layered landscape one, I did watch a video on it, and they looked like they were similar to the ones that we had with the plants, with the frames that come right with them. So if you're interested in that. We also have some new online exclusives. And this is part of the switching around that I'm going to do, is I do have some sample cards from the online exclusives because I took part in a swap there. And before I go any further, I want to thank Faye for being here as moderator with me again and answering questions as we go. And I know Faye has been working on a card like I'm going to show you tonight. So hopefully I can figure out how to switch screens and show you her card afterwards. So now I'm going to switch over here and just show you some of these cards from the online exclusives. This is Cake Celebrations. So you can see die cuts for different cake. And this is the paper from the Hearts of Elegance. Beautiful paper there. Hibiscus, Happy Hibiscus. And this card is a really neat layout. She did. I know we've done something similar to this before, but I just really like how it all kind of tucks in there together, and she's got it embossed and colored. And then we get to those 2 that were on the screen, the Otterly Amazing Otters. So there's a couple there. And the other one that was on the screen is the Hearts of Elegance. So this one also has the pretty petals, but this heart die cut. This heart die cut has some little pinholes in it when you run it through the embossing, through the cut and emboss machine. And it has a stamp similar. This one is one of those that is slides apart. We've done that kind of card before. I'll put that back together later. And then this one again showing that die cut with the embellished part on it. Then we have Classic Wedding. So coming up to wedding season, and I did see, I saw one today where somebody had taken this car and just stamped it all over as a background stamp. So that was kind of neat. And Umbrella Days. These 2 are showcasing that particular set. So I just thought it would be neat to, oh, this one has, look at, I didn't even notice that before. It has a little puppy dog. So I thought it would be neat to show those to you as we were talking about online exclusives. So now I'm going to switch back over here, and continue on. The scrapbook and brochure, there is another one coming out in January. There's all kinds of things happening with Stampin' Up. We as demonstrators, and anyone is allowed to join our team, we will be able to see the new January to April mini catalog on November 13th. So if you're not a demonstrator and you live in Canada and would like to join us, you're always welcome. Just saying. I will continue on now. Our Zoom with Friends class on Fridays. We have great projects there. We have fun doing it. We chat, we laugh, we cry, we do whatever. We just get along and have a great time together. So if you want to join me, let me know. We have 12 months of Christmas cards, second Thursday of each month. That one registration's closed for November. I will have one in December. Today is the last day to register for this one, the third Thursday of the month for monthly card class. And if you live in Canada, I'd love to have you as a customer if you want any of these products we're going to talk about. And that is my current host code for that. So I'll go back to this one. I'm going to leave it up for just a minute. Going to switch over to the comments. Good, I see you answering things. Hello, Yvonne, Carmen, Pam, Betty, Judy, Maggie. Great to see you. If I don't mention your name, it's not because I don't appreciate you. I just didn't see your name. So I will go back and read them all afterwards. Like I say, Faye is here helping me with keeping answers going. And if there's nothing urgent, and I'm sure Faye would answer it or would send me a message or whatever, I'm going to go over to my desktop and I'll leave you a question for just a little bit. I'll show you what we're going to make. You kind of got a hint of it in the, oh, can you see that? It's a mosaic background. And I've watched a couple videos on it, so I've got a couple hints to share with you, but I just love how you can use whatever you want, whatever colors. You can make it big or small pieces that you put on it, and then you use it as a background for your card front. So that's the one I had taken a picture of, and I am going to do one similar tonight. And this one I had done with the greens, just took mainly 1/2-inch strips and silver, and I can see a blue and silver one happening in my future. Just as I was working with it, we have black, white, clear, silver, copper, and gold in these new embossing powders. So you can probably use almost any of them and it would turn out great. But what you do need is a bunch of paper, which I have kind of got pieces cut here and I'm going to cut as we go. And a must-have is adhesive sheets. So we do sell these. They come package of 12 like this. They're well, not perforated. The backing is so you can get it off, but they do come as a 12-inch by 6-inch. So you can cover a big area if you need to. When I started, well, like I say, I watched a few videos and some of them started with their base exactly the size they wanted. I decided I was going to make mine a little bit bigger and then trim it. So this is a 1/4 sheet of paper. So it would be your 5.5 by 4 1/4. And you need to cover it with adhesive sheet so that your pieces of paper and your embossing powder stick to it. So you can see, I'm just going to take that banner off. Please keep answering though. My answer to that question was, if you've looked at my personal header on my Facebook page, my grandfather, my uncle, and my brother all served in the forces for Canada. my uncle and my brother for many years, my grandfather in the First World War. So I will certainly be attending Remembrance Day services on Monday. So back to the card. I am going to take this, peel the backing off, and I can never remember which side it's on. Actually, a hint that Joanne had shared one day was take it and mark the side that the paper you peel off. So I'm going to do that, and you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you should be able to. There's a little bit of where it's not quite sticky. I'll show you what it was Sharon Armstrong mentioned what she did with that. And there's a couple things you can do if that doesn't come off the way you want. So I'm just going to put it on here. I've left a very small border because this is really sticky stuff and it will gum up my paper trimmer and whatever if I leave it over the edge. So this is what I like to do with it. So I'm going to put it on there. I'm going to actually, thank you. I see lots of comments about family members serving in the war, and I will go back and read them all. I do appreciate everything everyone has done for us to have the wonderful country we do live in. So I use my bone folder to make sure that is all adhered. And then the fun begins. So I have got different pieces. I've got no rhyme or reason, which is totally out of character for me again. But it was fun. And as I mentioned in the title of this, one of my favorite things with Stampin' Up is heat embossing. So this is right along right. So when I peel that off, again, I just want to point out that you can see, maybe you can't, there is a line across here where that seam was, where there's not quite all the adhesive, and here. So a couple things you can do. You can take your Stampin' Seal and add more adhesive. And I'm going to do that along there. The other thing that Sharon said she did was she just started and made sure that she covered that with her papers. Therefore, she didn't have to worry about the embossing powder on that piece. So I'm going to start with that too. And there's no, because it is mosaic, I am not too worried about what lines up, but I am worried about the space I have in between, because I want that to be kind of uniform. So you just go around it all over this piece and place your pieces of designer paper. So it's a great way to use all of these extra pieces that we have. Doesn't matter if they stick over the edge. Hello, Yvonne. Thankful for Canada's friendship with our nation. Yes, we're thankful for your friendship as well. Yvonne is from Kentucky, so happy to have you join us. And while you're on here, Yvonne, and I see your name, I do want to point out that 2 weeks ago when I made this, your name came up as the winner, Yvonne. So I will be doing a cutout of all of these pieces and send them to you in a flat envelope so that I don't have to pay for a box for postage. Nothing much cheap in my world, is there? So I'm going to, as I'm Betty, you're funny. It's so outside your comfort zone. Yeah, it's like I said, it kind of took me a while, but I did enjoy doing it once I got to going. That's really good English. And I found that it didn't really matter because I don't want that. I mean, if you want certain things going for certain ways and whatever, um, but when you have, and you can cut if this doesn't fit, you just cut it as you go. I am not going to worry too much about that. I am going to fill in the spaces because I don't want, I mean, I like the gold, but I don't want big areas like that. So I will be fitting something in there, like maybe, and this is where just have your paper snips with you and cut what you need. So Betty, I hope you will try this. It is a great satisfying thing to be able to, I wanted that smaller. It's not gonna fit there. Too much red down there, maybe over here. And I hope this isn't taking too much of your time and you're busy chatting with each other. Yes, yes, Maggie, I am Scottish background, that's for sure. Um, hmm. And you can use the flip side of the paper, obviously. One of the joys of having our designer paper. You can see because it is sticky everywhere, that it's just a matter of lay it down and it will work. I think I'm going to put, this is where you have to learn what your angles are. And sometimes that's easier said than done too. If I will be trimming mine, but you can see, well, maybe you can't, but I can see there's a little bit here that doesn't have adhesive on it. So I do want to go as close as I can to the edges, but it's it's really neat when you actually get the embossing powder on it and it all fills in those spots. You cannot, as we've discovered. Thanks, Faith. You're all telling me to put this piece here, put this piece here. Well, I need you guys to make some of your own and share them in the comments afterwards. And of course, yes, if we were doing this in an in-person class, you would be able to help each other with where to put things and how to put them and that kind of thing. But for now, this is what we get. So I don't know if that one's going to work. And I should have a couple little more pieces. Well, they're not going to be small enough. Jeepers. The places like this. Ha, look at that. And another one. I can see if you just thinking again outside the box kind of thing, but what if you did a class where you had that's pretty good. All of these papers and at the end there was pieces left like this and you wanted to do one more card. This would be an ideal way to do it. So so once it's there, all I did was I took it like this and I trimmed the edges. You could do it on your paper trimmer, but there's no reason to do that at this point. And I'm trying to watch the time so I don't occupy you for too long. I don't know what's happening in the rest of your life. You know, there's no Oilers hockey game tonight because I watched that last night. But there are Christmas movies starting. Have any of you found any new ones? I like watching Christmas movies. They're kind of predictable, and that's okay. They're easy to watch, and I just don't want to fall on the floor because I need some of it. But I I really get I know if I start watching one and I've seen it before, I know right away, and that kind of bothers me. So once this is done, it's all sticky there. So I'm going to use my gold embossing, and I put mine in this dish rather than this one, just because then I can leave it there. I quite often, if I'm doing just embossing with stamping, this is all I'll do with it. I will use some more here in a minute to make sure it's everywhere. I did find another word of caution is that if you're pouring it down your card, these papers sometimes are a little bit raised and it doesn't stick quite like it should. This is pretty good, and I can tap it off like that. And the other thing that I noticed on my other cards is that if I don't brush it off the paper, it does sometimes just emboss right on there. And there's no, if you can see it on, I can't see it so much on that one. Maybe it was on the silver one that I noticed some silver spots. But anyway, I'm going to do that. It's going to be noisy for a minute because I have my heat tool here. And I use this. I've got a piece of cardboard covered with foil with a bulldog clip to hold it. And partly because I don't want my fingers where the embossing is, and partly because with the foil behind it, it helps to heat it up. I'm just heating this up away from here. And this is where the magic begins. They recommend that you don't hold it, don't go all over like this with it, just hold it in one spot until you see it actually changing like that. And then a little more difficult on here because you've got to make sure you've got all of the lines melted. And I don't know about you, but if you have one of these heat tools, I find that it doesn't go straight down. You kind of have to angle it once in a while, but I can see it. Trying to hold it so that you can. I see your comment, Gail, about the gold leafing. Yes, somebody in one of the videos I was watching, somebody did mention that, and they said yes, you probably could. I wondered, like, I didn't realize they were using the adhesive sheets when they started doing this. I thought it was maybe strips of tearing tape. And that would be, for those of us who are kind of OCD, that would be a little more organized for your finished product. If you put and then attached your paper accordingly. But so I can see there's a little spot that's dull. Here's the spot that's dull that I will. And it does heat everything up as it should to melt the gold. There's another couple of spots. So you can see that, again, the heat, probably because the paper's right there, doesn't get to the gold as fast as it would when you do something like this, like where I did the greeting. Oops. And there's another spot that's not quite. And that's, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I can tell now. Those rough spots are where the my piece of sheets right here, across that spot and across here. But I don't think it takes away from the look of the card. So there is my background. You know, the other thing that I've recently read, and I've been doing it the last couple days, and is to mount my front on here before I fold it. And you know what? For the most part, I really like doing that. So it's fairly cool now. And now I'm going to cut it to my regular size, which is the 4 by 5 1/4. I don't want to take it all off one side because each side has a little bit that can be gone. So I'm just going to take 1/8 of an inch off each side and 5 1/4, so 5 1/8 that way. So that's my reason for not starting with my paper exactly the size, because otherwise I would have to have adhesive right over to the edges. So there is my background, and I am going to put it on with liquid glue. Why do you mount it before folding? Just so that if you fold it first, Yvonne, what the lady that I watched was saying, if you fold it first, it's kind of bouncy when you go to mount something on it. So if you do it this way, it's going to lay flat and you can, well, supposedly, I guess that way's good, mount it evenly and without worrying about is it going to be okay? The other thing that I have done, and you've seen me do this in the past, but I will again, is once I glue it, I'm going to use my roller on it to make sure that it's adhered. Then I will fold it. And even though I've scored it, I like to go, we used to show fold it, go put your thumbs down and go out like this. So I like to start in the middle and do that. And there it is. So I have, as I showed you, I have this done. And I'm going to mount it with, how you should, your spacings from the edges even. When I mount it, you mean, Yvonne? I'm assuming? Because I did have it scored, so I knew that the front was going to be, and that's what I used for watching it. So, excuse me. You could mount it this way, you could mount it this way. It's whatever you like with your design when you're done. And even though I put that little tiny piece in there, and maybe you can see now, I can see gold on here that wasn't there before, but it kind of is a neat effect. I am just going to put this here. I could have had ribbon underneath it. And I could add embellishments, but I don't think it needs it. What do you think? So I'll bring these back in. Let me know if you like, try and cover my lights. Landscape, portrait, and as you can see, you're never going to end up with two the same. It's a great way to use your scraps. And as much as we all talked about it being kind of out of our comfort zone, it is kind of a neat technique. So, Faye, do you have one that you want to share? No? Okay. I see Faye shaking her head. None of the rest of you can see that, but that's okay. Faye will do one, or she has one. When she has one, she'll share it on the Facebook page for us, I'm sure. So thank you for monitoring that for me, Faye. I'm going to now come back over here, and then I'm going to go so I can Sorry, I'm busy reading comments. I shouldn't be doing that. I want to share my giveaway tool. What the heck is this called? I want to give you guys a card, 3 of you. So I can see that 17 of you have commented. Great, good to see all of you. I will hit the button, and as each name is drawn, it will not appear again. And there will be 3 different people earn cards. And then for next week, well, that's pretty silly. Not happening there. The card I made tonight will be sent to someone next week. And Sharon, these cards that I do send out, some are ones that I've made, some are ones that I've swapped, like those swaps you saw. And they're all Highness. They're all usable. I just put a little sticker in saying thank you very much, and you get to use them. So I just love sharing with you, and I'm so happy that you're here to create and chat with me. So, Yvonne, great. That means that I can send you your cutout for this, however you want to see it, as well as a card for this week. So super, super, super. Okay. So I appreciate you all being here with me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you give it a try. It, like I say, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it really, really ended up being something I think is pretty special. I don't think I'll make 100 of them for sending out for Christmas, so don't expect one in your mailbox, but who knows, maybe. Just a reminder that we do have our Zoom with Friends tomorrow, and everything ready for that, and we'll carry on for next week. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to learn to do and share with you, because I always enjoy doing that, and I'm always looking for good ideas. So take care, everyone. Bye now.